Dead
Okay.
serious. Whew.
Tell us a little bit about yourselves and what kind of music you enjoy making, listening to, and some of your main interests as a producer.
Michael.
Yeah. So, I'm Michael, clearly, as Tony has just pointed out. Um, I'm studying just music production at the university. I listen to a lot of older music, so like Beatles, Stones, Black Sabbath, Michael Jackson, and Wham, just to name a few. Um, and you know what? The course itself is really interesting. There's so much that you think you know, and then you walk into the course and clearly you don't have a clue what you're doing. And I'll let T take over from there.
I'm Tony. I'm a mature student. I was in the army for like 7 years, so I didn't come from like a musical background, I guess, or straight from school as such. I like hard rock and metal, and I guess more acoustic, down to earth singer-songwriter stuff as well. So I'm really finding my legs in the course. And what I joined for, I'm on the independent music stream in order to be my own artist and just learn about all the ins and outs of that, self-promotion, marketing, and legal stuff. Basically, just cover everything so that eventually I'll find out what I want to do. And I'm really interested in like the songwriting side more than anything, just because that's where I guess my strengths are. I'm not particularly good at all the techie stuff like engineering, but that's just because I've got attention span. I'm a goldfish. What about you, Nina?
Yeah, I'm Nina, and I'm kind of in a similar boat with my interests as Tony, where I come from like a more acoustic background. Like I used to be in a couple of acoustic bands, jazz bands, stuff like that. And I was mostly interested in songwriting as well. But I wanted to learn more about the production side of things and the business side of things so that I could actually like support myself as a musician or like support others in like other realms of the music industry. And yeah, I mainly listen to indie music and stuff like that. And I come from Colorado, if you can't tell by the everything about me.
Such a Colorado say.
Yeah.
You know, that pure
And-
Yorkshire accent you're expelling there. It's
Oh,
just,
yeah.
you can certainly tell.
Oh, laughs.
Did I mention that I'm American?
Typical guys.
Just so you know.
Just so if you can't tell. But yeah, that's it on me. So next thing. We talked a little bit about the experience of this course and how like you come in not really knowing anything. But like what do you think since we came in completely like confused and like a little bit scatterbrained at first, like what do you think you feel like towards the end of this course this year? How has your experience been overall?
T, you're going to take off
It
first?
started quite overwhelming because, like, I think I've said it before, where you can there's so much to learn at the same time, but you can't learn two things at once, and so eventually, like, things start to make sense. Like, especially in the studio when you're like doing a mix, for example, you just don't know why things work together until you learn them. So it's quite not frustrating, but you want to know everything at once, but you just can't. You've got to learn it in some sort of order, and a lot of it is just practice and getting things wrong, and they give you the space for that, which is awesome. Like, I remember our first recordings, I've still got them here. I'm just like, no one's gonna hear them ever, but
Firmly buried in
Exactly.
hard drive, never to be found again.
even though it's like 3 minutes, you just remember every mistake that you've made without that. You go, well, why did that take 4 minutes to do that? And it's like 4 chords, you know what I mean?
Oh,
So,
no, yeah, I
that.
completely
Like
agree
Help.
with you there.
You know,
Yeah.
Oh,
you heard that one?
don't get me started on Help.
Well,
We had to do a cover of
that's a nice
Help.
segue. Let's get started.
Yeah. No, yeah. So we had to do a cover of the Beatles' Help. And like when we first got put into the groups, I was like, yes, clearly a Beatles fan. All over this, know it inside out. And then you get in there and you try and do each bit as you know it, because you've got to follow the brief and make sure it sounds exactly as the original recording. And my God, you listen back to it and it's terrible. It's an absolute shocker.
I remember we like Tony and I were in the same group and we chose knocking on heaven's door.
Yeah,
And
Bob
then
did.
like literally it took us like 3 hours to figure out how to put a click track on. Like,
Pro Tools is trying to get us.
yeah, we couldn't even use Pro Tools. It was like such a disaster.
No, trying to get a click track into, like, if it worked for Bailey, because Bailey had obviously
Yeah.
learned so much about, like, asking the right questions, like, showing different bits, how to get click track up. I've lost my words. Clearly can't talk today. But you know what I mean.
No,
If it weren't for him, what do you mean no?
no, I'm cool.
Now, if it weren't for Bailey, I think we'd have been in a right mess at the beginning, because he seemed to pick it up a lot quicker than the rest of us. But no, help, man. We did help. Oh, we still need help.
Somebody.
Just bury it.
But,
Yeah.
it still needs work. Lots of it, but that's what, as they describe in the industry, as a steep learning curve.
I mean, it is like you said, where it's like, we're sort of bound to make mistakes, and we sort of got set up to make mistakes,
Yeah.
which is
Oh, yeah. Hell
like,
yeah.
which is actually like a good thing too. Like, we're purposefully supposed to make as many, we're supposed to mess up as much as possible so that we don't mess up again.
That's what they say, though, isn't it? Like, book out the studio as much as you can and just try and practice all the stuff. And the more mistakes you make, the quicker you learn it.
Yeah.
Let's go with it, really.
A lot of it's like as an artist as well. So you've got the singing side, or like even just playing to a click on a bass. You're like, why is that so hard? Like you get in the groove and stuff, and you go, oh, you should always start with rhythm or like the drums and stuff. And I couldn't agree more. How many tracks would I start again?
I
Yeah.
remember recording
that time.
acoustic guitar for help, and it's like, will you just turn off this click track?
Yeah.
I can't follow it. It's annoying me.
And then the singing side as well. Like, how do you sing for a start? Like,
Yeah.
always the starting point. But then there's all that technical stuff to it, and I don't know, it's just all really interesting.
Yeah.
But you'll
So-
learn it together. It's hard.
It's also the like the techniques that you use too in the studio for that. Like how we, like for that song that we did with Alex, like we sang it together in the same place. Yeah, instead of like different rooms, which was at first like not helpful at all, but then after a while it was actually like really helpful. And it was like learning different things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Crazy. But it's so good. I'm well enjoying it. Like, can't wait for September now to get back and learn some more stuff. Like, I never thought I'd, like, when you're at school, like, obviously because I'm a mature student like you, T, it's when you're in school, you can't wait to leave and get out of it. Like, this is horrible. Let's get out of here.
That's
and then
exactly
college
how I felt.
is like better. And then it's like, but you never think, like, going back to education after so long. And I didn't think I'd enjoy it as much as I am doing, in a weird sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Midweek weekends, man. That's
Honestly, like weekends, I don't even know what to do with myself. I'm like, where do I go? What do I do?
I just get so bored at weekends.
So pathetic.
Like, right, whoa, Monday. Here we go. Back in. Let's get jamming.
I do love that. What do you think the best thing has been so far for you guys?
I'm gonna say it's the people in it. It's the network you make and the what do you call it, collaborations. You don't think you could work with a guy who likes pop music or like a guy who's like a drum and bass, and then suddenly you've got like this fusion track or some stuff. You like, clip that. Don't really. So yeah, it's just how like working together with people and broadening your horizons. I think Mickey already mentioned it, maybe he didn't, but yeah, I guess that.
I may have mentioned it. I can't remember. My head is like a sieve. But, it's the best thing about the course.
Free studio.
Best part of the course. I think I'd have to agree with Tony and said meeting the amount of people that you meet. I mean, it's only a small course anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's like 21 people on our course this year.
Yeah.
And there is so many different sort of personalities that you just like, you all got different tastes in music, and you're like, Nah, you're not my kind of guy.
I'm surprised it took us as long as it did for us all to like become really close too. Like I feel like we have a pretty tight knit course as well, and like we all work together pretty well. But like it took us like a couple months to get to that point.
It was about November, weren't it, when we all decided to have a night out?
Yeah.
The nights out turned into more regular nights out because we're all just laughing at each other.
Yeah, I agree with you that it's definitely the collaboration aspect and like the networking that you do. It's not even just like the people that we meet within our own like age group, like with our own like peer group, but like also just having like industry day and stuff and like external like people that you get to like work with and like see what other people in the industry are actually doing is like a big thing. And then also even just like learning from like the second and third years, if you like decide to actually meet them and like get to know them and not be like super shy. But I think the collaboration part is probably the biggest thing for me too.
All right, so like what would you two say is the best thing from the course itself that you've learned so far? Is it like the desk or how certain bits of software work, or
how easy it is to sort of like, how it's really difficult, don't get me wrong, but how easy it is just to make music. You just go click, 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 and then suddenly you've achieved what you've tried to do instead of sitting on YouTube for half an hour trying to find out what it's called, how to like, I want to symbol. It's so easy. You can do it in seconds now, where that's to take an hour just to go symbol. It's like, it's just now it's sort of like you've got a lot more fluidity and fluency, on Logic and stuff like that. So that's good. Yeah. And just everything becomes easier. Like I was up till 4 this morning just doing stuff on Logic.
Yeah, I think it's Logic too, but I honestly really like the studio because I feel really cool just knowing how to use it, if that makes sense. Like
yeah, I know what you mean.
Plugging shit into other things and then like turning up knobs.
Just say like, we'll patch this into here, and then we'll put this in here and do this, and then put the reverb into this channel, and then a bit of this. It's just like,
What do you think, speaking of that though, like what do you think the most challenging part is as well of this course? Like what do you think is the hardest part?
Ooh.
I mentioned it again, just how everything learns together and as a performer as well. So you've got you agonize over like performing it properly and, getting a good take in all the performance element, but then you've got to learn how to record it as well and all these cool techniques. And it's just like, sometimes you just go, okay, just give me a 58 and let me just stand there and scream into it. Like that's all you want to do, but you've got to sort of go, oh, I need to learn. I want it to sound like this. How do I do that? Oh, it's mid-side. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just like,
yeah.
And all the reading, don't get me wrong. I got bare books up there. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the most challenging aspect for me has been having everything thrown at you at once. Ooh. You're like, have some, like, because you'll do, say, I mean, 3 different modules in one day. And then you're taking it back, and then the next day you're doing 2 completely different modules, and then it's just getting it all together. And then because I'm older anyway, it's not all going in as quick as it would do. It's like, right, I still don't get that. My notes are rubbish. Yeah, make clear notes is my thing to go into next year. Like, I need to write down more. And make clear notes rather than just the odd bullet point going, yeah, desk. Look at it a month later and go, don't even know what that means anymore. Pull it. Bit.
Yeah, mine don't make any sense.
Oh.
I'm trying to look at mine right now.
I write everything.
I think it is a mixture of what you both said though, like the time management is like making sure you plan your time better.
Oh, definitely. With
better notes, and then also practicing what we've learned rather than
Dave's sessions on Friday.
Like
when you practically do stuff that you've learned on Tuesday, and just getting home and doing it, just like, okay, I want to make a synthesizer or something like that.
Best with Dave's lesson though, weren't it? Like how we do. Because on Friday afternoons we do the software, don't we, after what you're shown in the studio on a Friday morning. And with second semester it's Logic, which we've all got, rather than Pro Tools, which is the monthly subscription. You actually practice it in your flat. Yeah, practice makes perfect in this case, and just practice is all the stuff I'm carrying into next year to make sure I don't fall flat on my face.
Yep, I agree. We could go into like this one question, which is like, because we are sort of on this track, is like, what would you give like your top 3 tips for anybody coming into this course?
All right. Oh yes. Write better notes. Make sure your notes are clear and consistent. Well, don't write better notes, just write good notes. Like, I'll say better because my notes were rubbish. But write clear notes that you understand. Practice everything that you've been learning week on week to make sure it's fresh and you don't forget anything. And turn up, more importantly, because if you don't turn up to lecture, because I've missed a fair few lectures, let's not lie. But yeah, because as soon as you miss one thing, that sort of throws you out completely, and you can never properly catch up unless you're working all the time. You two, what would you say your top 3 tips?
Glad you reminded me the question.
Like, what are your top 3 tips for like any students coming into the course?
I don't know. Just getting a routine and stuff. Like, so you said before we got modules every day, and so Monday's different to Tuesday, and they're all sort of, you just want to go, okay, that day's for this, and you sort of want to dedicate that time every night, maybe like an hour before bed, which is what I did before. Just reading and stuff like that. It means you can catch up, and it seems like a lot, and it can be, but it's not really when you sort of look at it. You know, once you start working and stuff, that's when it starts to become a problem, because then your social life just goes to zero. It's pretty horrible. But just try your best. Maybe don't work so much hours, because I was 25 hours a week, and that didn't help. Another tip is just keep doing it, like get it wrong. Keep what you've done wrong as well, so you can look back and go, look at that guy. Thought was good, you know. And it's just good to have a record as well.
Past you.
Yeah. No, don't delete it. I've deleted so much because I'm so embarrassed, but don't, because it's good to see where you come from. And third tip, I don't know, have a nice, balanced, healthy breakfast. There you go. Stay trim.
There you go.
Yeah.
I can't say I.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away.
What are your top 3 tips, Nina?
Yesterday I said some stuff, but I can't remember what I said. So I think be organized, like stay organized, and like just don't leave everything for the last minute. And ask for help. Like, don't be afraid to like have a mental breakdown about things. Like, if that makes sense. Like, just ask.
Yeah.
Pro mental breakdown. I like it.
Pro anxiety, pro depression.
I think it's one of those, isn't it, that you feel like if you shouldn't be asking for help at this level, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
like, that's like what
you get so much help if you ask. Like, you get so much more help than you would do in college or at school if you ask for it. Like, you literally get shown most of the stuff you need to do if you ask the right questions.
Yeah. We could also start talking about the facilities and like what the studio's like how we book out equipment, and like maybe Andy and Cameron's sort of role in that, or like if they're 24 hours or not and stuff like that. Just talk about your experience in the studio, I suppose.
Mikey, go.
Experience in the studio. As in, like, so I've booked it out a fair few times, obviously for project work, and then we decided to do this Band-Aid project for Christmas, which was just pure banter. That were well good. Booking the equipment out really easy. It was pretty easy. Sorry, a mini argument with myself there. Just go online, you get given a login and a password, and it's literally just a long list of equipment in it. And then that's another tip I would give: just book out everything, whatever you can, and just play. No, but like play with it and see what you think of the sound.
I agree with that. Maybe not book out everything.
Oh no, not everything.
There's certain mics so there's like certain mics. I like my little split pair on my acoustic. So I'd like, what else have they got? I'll try all these mics. And I found the ones, like, I tried the Octavas, I tried the NT5s, NT55s. I was like, I like these ones. I'm going to use them on every song now.
Which one do you like?
Vocal mics, I can never just, I don't know, see what you get along with.
What's your favourite acoustic mic?
That'll be the NT5s at the minute. I've had great success, but Octava, they could pretty much change them out for each other, they're not.
Oh, mate, the Titan, what mic?
So I've even got a project here, which is about 6 tracks of just the same thing, different mics, and it's just like, whatever.
I use the NT5s for acoustic, but I use like the C414s for everything, and like the U87. I think our year group just loves the U87.
Oh, the U87 is the peak.
It's always booked out.
Yeah.
I got the 7B or the 840, the MC840 beta. That's a good one for Vox.
Just for anyone that is watching, you will learn what all of these are in time. We're just
may seem nerdy, and it is.
Studio is so easy to book out. You got to give them a login, don't you? And then you can choose your slot. You get a maximum 3-hour slot, but you can
tag team it.
Tag team it, double it up, whatever. And then you add all your equipment to it. It's well good. Just
literally signed in the time it took me to get my phone out. I can book the studio obviously right now, but I just signed in there like 10 seconds.
But it's a lockdown, so you can't.
But
oh yeah, you can't book it now.
Just show up. There's like
I would like to be locked down in the studio. How boss would that be?
What was it though? We had to do a driving license test, didn't we, to be able to book it, just to make sure that you can. So you will get taught to learn to how to properly before.
You get taught to learn how to.
You will get taught how to use it before you can book it out. So there we go. And lesson 2.
What was the question?
It was what
you think of the studio, I guess. Like how you use the studio and stuff.
I like the mixing room as well. I prefer up there. Just when I'm DI and instruments and stuff. And they've got vocal booth, which is something else. Like I know I like it in there.
It does have nicer lighting in there, I'm gonna be honest.
It's very traditional, like producer, artist. You're not in the room with them, and you know what I mean. Set up the talk back, and you sort of go, "How good was that? Was that terrible?" I don't know. But I've learned so much just being in that booth for hours. You know, just.
You've got the booth in the studio.
I wouldn't use that personally.
I like the mixing room if you're like just working with a couple of people because it's more of like an intimate space.
Yeah.
But I only really use it if I have to.
When we had that.
Just trying to cause an argument with T over the vocal booth.
I'm easy, mate. I
get a bit of stress.
I just shout in tunes. It doesn't matter where I am. You know what I mean?
To be honest, I've not used that vocal. Oh no, I've used it twice. I think one in Dave's lesson and then one for this Project F that we've been doing.
I like it.
I much prefer recording vocals in the main studio room though, where desk is.
Yeah, I feel like your keyboard there, and you can touch it. You can go record. You know what I mean? You can man it yourself.
It's just like
someone there.
showing someone how to smack a keyboard.
I mean, like
you were just like keyboard.
So you could be completely independent in that sense. Lol.
Yeah, there we go. That's good. I agree.
Yeah. I approve of this message.
How would you characterize the overall atmosphere?
Organised mess.
Yeah, it's organized chaos.
So much going on everywhere, but you seem to know exactly what's going on everywhere. It's just so much going on, so much to learn.
It's like usually like on Mondays we're given like the task, and then from then on it's just like try and plan, and then as soon as you plan it, like nothing goes according to plan, and you're like re-plan, and then that doesn't work either. But it's somehow.
Can I Tuesday afternoon? No, no, literally no.
It's pretty chill, isn't it? I would say.
Yeah. Yes
No,
and
in the sense that,
it really is and it really isn't.
like,
It's
get it?
there's nothing in the middle.
No, you know what I mean. In the way that when you get into the studio and you're recording whatever it's pretty chill when you're doing the work. You're not like, unless it's near deadline day, and you're like, we need to get this recorded now, when we should have not recorded one thing for 30 odd takes.
Then
Yeah,
if you've got
like,
me
it
as
doesn't-
For more calls.
if you've got me as your manager, I'm just like always coming in, like yelling at you and then leaving.
Wow.
Yeah, Nina, 80s drums. All I'm gonna say. It was all about.
So many 80s drums.
Love it. So for my general vibe is good. Like I like how so it's quite nerve-wracking sitting there Monday afternoon, first time you're playing back, like first time you've really sang on a track that is getting sort of critically assessed, I guess, or like looked at, and then just the encouragement you got. Like I turned a corner, a guy who's been in the industry like 30 years tells you got a good voice and you don't need to worry about all this shit. You're like, okay, now I trust him more than I trust my fucking mum, who doesn't actually like the way I sing it anyway. So, like, hey, do you like my music? She goes, no. So, you know what I mean? And you finally got that platform. You know,
Yeah.
I think that's what's good because you got the encouragement and stuff like that.
I do quite like the criticism you get. So like when you you listen to something and you think it's all right, but it could improve, they won't sugarcoat it.
Yeah, they'll tell you
They'll tell you if it's good and they'll tell you if it's bad. And then like if you get told it's bad, it's sort of, even though you don't like hearing it, it's good to get it.
You probably already know too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of times you're like, there's like little chinks in the armor. You go, they're gonna notice that, but
Yeah.
Just
I'm gonna leave it in anyway.
you've recorded something like, well, it's a bit rough, this, I'm not sure, and then you put it on, and then Russ is like, as soon as he hears the first second of it, he's there like, oh no, you done it. Have you recorded this using an iPhone microphone? We ran out of time. Just a cut back to Help the first time we handed it in.
That's another question though, is like talking about some of the projects that we've done. We could go into depth of what kind of projects we do and like how that sort of progresses over the year.
Oh yeah, I like the projects. Like it's it's work, but it doesn't seem like work until you're near the end of it.
Like, you're grafting, yeah.
You are grafting proper. But nah, like, what's been your favourite project to work on that we've been given?
Honestly, like I know I was like really stressed out about Project F, but I was kind of getting really excited about it because like I was really stressed out about it because I was like there's one person in each of my groups that was like sick since I'm a manager, I like had to make sure that it all got done, but like I couldn't just like let people like, I don't know, like I was working on both like Joe and Rob's project and then Bailey and Jordan's project, and then yours I was just sort of letting you do what you were doing and it worked out, so that was good.
Oh yeah, that one was pretty much just, I really enjoyed doing it but found it stressful at the same time. I think it's one of those because you a lot through the whole different projects you collaborate with so many different people, don't you? And it's when you start collaborating with someone you've not done, you're stressed at first because it's like, well, I'm used to working this way and they're working a completely different way, and then it sort of starts to gel. And I think it's more you've got to make sure you put the time in and learn to get along with everybody. That's what we do anyway. Like I don't think there's anyone we don't get along with, but I've run out of breath and words, and I'm just going to let somebody else speak now.
Let's just step further. So we started out in pairs, didn't we? We had to cover a song, which was like, out of these 5, make it sound like that, but not like that. So you basically rip it off. That was good. I managed to work with someone who's a really good producer anyway, so that helped. Like, I learned so much just in that little sort of 2-3 weeks. And then we're in a group for ages, and that was quite good. We had quite a tight group. It was lucky. And then it's Project F. So you've got used to a certain way of working in that I relegate myself to like, everyone else can produce better than me. So I'll do, I guess, the performance and I guess the arrangement and stuff. Yeah. And then I'll sit down with them and mix. It's brilliant, but I couldn't, make those results.
That is one of the things, isn't it, that you can get comfortable with the group you get put in.
Yeah.
and you learn how everybody works, and all of a sudden you get a new project and you're thrown into a completely different group, and it can just throw you completely out of kilter.
I've been lucky as like just because I've got Will on this next one, and we came in. We were in that studio all 6 days. We had to do 2 demos. We were in there for like 2-3 hours a day, and we managed to do it in the end. But it's like we did it vertically as opposed to horizontally. I'd go A section, B section, C section, guitar solo, then D, whatever, outro. But then it just went top down. It was like, okay, so we've got this, and it was so like 5 days in, we're like, how are we gonna end this song? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
So it's different, but it was good because then you go, we got 2.5 minutes in, and that's complete. We don't have to worry about it. So it's a new way of working.
Yeah.
But
Will's really good with that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah,
a lot of credit to Will.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting, like, working with different people because your strengths and, like, weaknesses sort of come together and you have more of, like, even if it's people that you might not, like, even hang out with one-on-one, like, outside of the studio, you're still, like, playing to each other's strengths and you're having to learn, like, how to sort of measure and balance everybody's abilities and, like, what they're most interested in, and especially the genres that they're, like, more interested in. Like, I can't do electronic music, period. Like, I'm bad at it.
Yeah.
But, like, people who can't do it, I'm like, that is amazing. Like, please do that on here for me.
That's one thing I want to learn a bit more of, is how to do the electronic sort of stuff, because I know we've sort of touched on it this year of how to do certain bits, and we've got certain people, of course, that can smash out the electronic music, no problem. I'm just sort of sat there like, I haven't a clue, but it sounds brilliant. But
those cheesy sounding synth going.
yeah, making it sound like some proper.
Do something with it.
Old...
Like Mario Kart.
Yeah.
When you used to go to arcade as a kid and you've got the old penny machines, it sounds like some sort of proper dodgy synth.
As long as it's C, I'm fine. I don't need to worry about it.
Yes.
Next question.
I forgot. I lost my paper and now I found it again. Where is a good place? We could talk more about too, like, the student perspective on just uni life in general. Like, how do you guys find the SU, and how did you find Freshers Week, and like student life and the music scene in York, and like how is it to live in York?
Okay, let's just address 6 questions in a row.
Sorry.
What's going on?
Right. Should we start off with Freshers Week and say it's a messy one?
It is an odd week.
It's just wow.
The people I hung out with during Freshers Week, I have not talked to in like months. You know?
It's just like Brickworks people.
Yeah, like we at the same place during Brickworks, like on that Saturday or whatever. Like everyone.
Oh, in the common room when Jill had that party. Yeah, I got smashed at 3 bar. And then we ended up going Cuda. And I'm not big on Cuda, as you've well aware. I'm much more of a Flares guy. But,
how about, what do you guys think of like the music scene and student life in York?
Just a point in the music scene, but you don't know till you know. It's very grassroots, guy and acoustic guitar in a small pub. Like, the pubs are about the size of this flat, you know what I mean? So there's no massive music scene. There's about 2 venues. Well, there was more, but they're closed down. But they're not the size that is useful to us, you know what I mean?
They are sort of trying to expand the music scene in York a bit, though. That's why they're bringing this festival in.
Yeah.
But it could do with improving. Like, like, I can only compare it to Liverpool because I spent there. And the music scene there is obviously massive because of its history. I won't go into its history,
Michael?
Because that's self-explanatory. But no, the York music scene could improve, but they're closing down so many places now.
Yeah, even here, Fibbers is obviously closed for
Yeah, that's back open in October. No, September, and they've got a Beatles night on in October, and I'm going. I've got a ticket. It cost me £1.50 because I got it months in advance.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm ready. I got a little pop-up and it was like, oh, he likes the Beatles. Beatles night. Yes, straight £1.50.
But your cookies are all just like all your adverts on every social media is just Beatles, no matter what.
To be fair, I don't post that much on social media.
Nah. I mean, what
But you
you
still Google things, like you still
Yeah.
look up stuff and like listen to certain music, and it takes that into account.
Ah, yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
I'd say that like
Although I suppose.
the music scene in York, even though it's small, you can play that to your advantage
Oh yeah.
because of like
Oh yeah,
like if you think about
Or-
Liverpool and stuff, like you're like and like if you think about
Well,
You're
said.
very
going
much
to a bunch
branched
of
out.
big gigs, yeah, you're not going to be able to like actually meet these bands that you're going to see. But if you go to like these smaller venues, you can sort of network with different people who have been in the industry for a while, but are just like more underground, and so you can build closer connections. First and foremost, I
Oh
guess.
no, yeah, completely. You've got loads of opportunity to actually play in York, whereas somewhere like Leeds or Liverpool, that it's so big on its music anyway, you're probably not going to really have as much of a chance as you would do in York because it's a small scene.
Yeah.
It's got quite deep all of a sudden.
I tried to steer us back to the like conversation at hand.
Oh
but...
yeah.
But yeah,
Like,
thanks,
busking,
Michael.
there's so many buskers.
Oh yeah,
It's-
geez.
Yeah, buskers.
That's something to get excited about.
That's something I actually want to do when I go back.
Yeah, I do want to start busking.
I
Seen
just
the
need
opera
to
guy?
make sure I'm not on someone's patch.
Oh, mate, everywhere's loaded. Have you seen the opera guy? You can stand
No,
next to
yeah.
that guy now. Just go fully a cappella, mate.
Have you seen?
Uni life. What do we think of it on campus?
I mean, especially like I think what the uni is really good at is like being really supportive. Like not even just the staff that we have in music production, but like they have like mindfulness classes and stuff like that. They have like plenty of like mental health services that you can go to, and like yeah, they're very open towards like being inclusive and like being like helpful to everybody that they can be. My opinion. But yeah, I don't know. Like the universe, like the uni itself is like there's plenty of like stuff going on campus and all sorts of aspects. The SU holds a lot of cool stuff, and
I love the SU. I'm a big
It's great
fan.
for Friday afternoons. Even
Fri-
Monday afternoons, Tuesday afternoons. I'd say Wednesday afternoons. It's just great.
just like
maybe.
student life on the SU. Student life on the SU. Student life.
Nice.
there's
Nice.
the open mic nights and stuff every like the end of every
Last
month.
Thursday
Hey,
of
what-
the month.
What's the script with them open mic nights? Because it seems like you get there, because we went to that one that Dan's friend Annie was playing at, and it seemed like they just had a running order, not that you could just get up and have
Oh
a
no, you
jam.
can't. Yeah, he came around asking.
Yeah, he came around asking if we could or not, or if we wanted to.
All right. Is that because I turned up later because we're in the studio?
I think so, because I think some of the bands, like the music students, have different like bands that they've already like booked out, you know, like their slot or whatever. But like, there's plenty of time that they can work around that for you, which is cool.
I'm looking forward to learning more of how to use certain stuff in the studio, different techniques, and because at the moment they throw everything at you, don't they? And I think next year it'll start bringing it all together and expanding on what we've learned.